Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm Gamesplaining Viticulture Essential Edition. In the first video, I spoke through how you get from the beginning of the game to selling wines to winning. What I haven't gone into is what each of the locations on the board mean, and what you do on them, and what each of the buildings in your own locations do, and why we need them. So let me run through them. I'll start with the summer months, which is the yellow ones on the left-hand side of the board. First up, this is the location where you're going to play any yellow cards that are in your hand. You'll only be able to play one yellow card. The bonus is to play a second yellow card. So that's a visitor, which usually will give you a bonus, and will sometimes give everyone else at the table the chance to take a bonus, but you will get some extra stuff if they take that particular bonus. So it might be that they get to plant another wine, but you will get a point for everyone who takes up that bonus, or things like that. I went into the iconography in the first video, so you can have a look at that, and all of the cards have writing on the bottom of them which will explain what you are supposed to do. There may be a little bit of language there that catches people out, but it should be fairly straightforward. Coming down here, we draw green cards. The green cards are the cards that have wines on them. You're going to need them to be able to plant them in your fields. The bonus one for the higher player count games is to take 2 cards instead of the 1. At this point here, you're able to sell grapes that are sitting on your crush. So if you've got some that are sitting down here, the value of each grape is here. So anything on this top crush valued 1 to 3 sells for 1 money each. Anything on the second one down, which is the 4 to 6 value wines, will sell for 2 monies, and the 7 through 9 value wines will sell for 3 monies. You can sell as many of them as you like when you go to that place. The bonus is to get an extra point. The other thing you can do is buy or sell a field. So if you really need money, you can take a field like this. You know, it says a value on it. This is a value 7 field. Flick it over to the sold side, take 7 monies, and then you just have a field that you're not able to actually plant grapes on. If in a future turn you wish to purchase that back, once again, it will cost you 7 monies to buy it. You'll need to go to that location again and then spend your 7 monies, flip that field back over, and you're good to go. You're not allowed to sell any fields that have grapes on them. This is another location where you can gain monies. It's basically giving a tour of your vineyard. The bonus, you get 2 monies for going there. The bonus is 1 more, so if you catch that first, you'll get 3 monies. Over at this location is where you plant, so you take any of the green cards you've got and you plant them into your fields. I was explaining about that in video 1, so I won't go into those numbers again, but the value of each field is 5, 6, and 7, so the value of your grapes you're able to get into them is additive 5, 6, or 7. And the bonus is here that you're able to plant 2 grapes instead of just the 1. And then if we come down to this bottom one, this is the only other thing you're able to do in the summer, and that's building a structure. If you take the bonus, it gives you an extra coin to be able to use to build that structure, but it's building 1 structure. So now's probably a really good time to go into what the structures are and why you want them. First up, we have the trellis and the irrigation. Trellis is going to cost you 2 monies, irrigation will cost you 3. They look like that. Trellis, irrigation. You need them in order to be able to plant wine. So any of the cards that have this little symbol, you're not allowed to plant that unless you have the irrigation on your property or on your player board. And I showed you also there were pictures of the trellis up in that corner, which means you need the trellis in order to be able to do that grape. Right in the middle here, we have the yoke. It looks like this. What it allows you to do is a couple of things. You can use this space as an extra worker placement space. Instead of one of the ones up on the main board. You can use it at any time to harvest one of your fields. So that's really valuable. The other thing you can do with the yoke is actually uproot one of your vines. So if I've got that in my vineyard and I no longer want to have that grape there because maybe I've got a higher value wine grape in my hand that I really wish to get into that particular vineyard, I could use this worker placement spot to be able to uproot that wine, bring it back into my hand, and then maybe on a future year I'll be able to plant another grape in that field. Down at the bottom of your board, you have the two cellars. I was talking about them earlier with the aging of the wines and the value of the wines. So you have to build the medium cellar, which is worth 4 monies, before you're able to build the large cellar, which is worth 6 monies. And you're not going to be able to age your grapes past the size of the cellar you actually have on there. The cellars are these two. They look really similar. I think this is the medium cellar and this one's the large cellar. Realistically, it doesn't actually matter which one's which, as long as you've got one of the buildings in each location. And please feel free to comment below if I got them in the wrong order and you do actually know the difference between them. While we're on buildings that look like that, this is the other one. Looks really similar. It's just a little bit taller. This one is the cottage, which will be built here. It'll cost 4 monies to build it. And what that does is every year when you get through to the autumn or fall, when you're taking a visitor card, you're able to take 1 more visitor card. It doesn't have to be the same or different to the one that you would not naturally get to take. You just get to take 2 visitor cards from summer and or winter. The windmill, which goes just here and costs 5 monies, is really good to get onto your board early, because when you have the windmill on your player mat, whenever you plant a grape, that will give you 1 bonus point. And the only other building we've got is this one here, which is the tasting room. It looks really similar to the trellis, I know, but doesn't have the grapes hanging down. So in the tasting room, it costs you 6 coin to get in there. But once you've got that, whenever you use the give a tour space on the main board in summer, as long as you have at least 1 grape in your, or 1 wine in your cellar, you gain a point for giving that tour while you've got wines that can be tasted. So that's all of the buildings that can be built. Let's move on to the winter months now and see what we can do in winter. So similarly to summer, you can play a visitor card. In this case, it'll need to be the winter visitors or blue visitors, and the bonus is to play 2 of them. You can draw these cards. These are fulfillment cards. And they tell you what you're actually trying to grow your grapes towards. So it's worthwhile having a few of them in your hand so you know what you're working towards. And the bonus is to take a second one. You can harvest one of your fields, which I showed you earlier. It looks like taking that and going, oh, I've got a 3 white, a value 3 white wine now. Remember that you can only harvest each field once. So if you do use this particular worker placement space, I couldn't use that and this harvest spot to do that grape twice. And the bonus is you get to harvest 2 fields. You can make up to 2 wines at this location. If you get the bonus, you'll actually be able to make up to 3 wines. And what they're talking about, it says wine tokens. So that's talking about if you need to combine a couple of wines over here or grapes over here to create a rosé, they call it blush, or sparkling / champagne. Each of those would only count as 1 of your wines when you create it, no matter how many grapes you actually use. Over here you are able to fulfill one of those purple cards that we picked up there, and I showed you how to do that already. At this location you're able to train up new workers. So out of these extra worker meeples, you send one of your workers here, you spend 4 coins, take your 4 monies and put them in the bank. And then you would take that extra meeple and just place it up there, not on one of the worker placement spaces, but somewhere near it, maybe on the house, so that when you clear the board at the end of the year, you know you've got another worker coming in for use next year. And as I said before, the grain, you're able to go there year round. As many meeples as you like can go there. There's no limit on that one. And you gain 1 money by going there. That's all for the worker placement things. At the end of the year, you will retrieve all of your workers back from the board, get paid your residual income, which got pushed up by those purple cards, and then reduce your hand size of these cards to only having 7 cards in them, and then we move our first player counter to the next player, and that player places their rooster for what order they want to play in. I'm pretty sure that I've covered absolutely everything you'll ever need to know in order to be able to play Viticulture Essential Edition. If you've got any comments, please comment below. If you've got any games that you wish to be gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Subscribe to my videos so you can see what games I'm gamesplaining and keep up to date that way. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to see what games I've been playing. And until next time, enjoy gaming.